A self-hosted mail server in just a few minutes? Mail in a Box looks like one of the easiest self-hosted mail solutions out there. But is something this simple actually good? Or is it just too simple to be taken seriously? Today we're taking a close look at Mail in a Box. It promises a fully automated mail server with built-in DNS, spam protection, backups and an extremely easy setup. Sounds great, but also a little suspicious, right? Let's see how it actually performs. A quick overview. Mail in a Box is designed for people who want a mail server, but don't want to configure postfix, dovecot, spam assassin, certificates, all that kind of stuff. It's automated and honestly pretty locked down. That can be good, but also very limiting. But the goal is simple: run one script to get a working mail server. But before we start, a quick thank you to MIVO Cloud for sponsoring this video. Check out their awesome offers of different virtual private servers. If you're thinking about running your projects on a cloud server, MIVO Cloud is top choice. And you get 30% off on your first order with this promo code. The link and the promo code are in the description and also in the pinned comment. Let's check out the documentation to see what we need for this setup. Alright, we need a domain name. We're going to use the sysadminhub.net for this. We need an A record with a subdomain with box dot, and we also need a reverse DNS record. That one you can't set up on your DNS provider, you need to set it up with your IP address provider, which in most cases is your VPS provider. And speaking of VPS, you need a fresh Ubuntu server installation, and it needs to be Ubuntu 22.04, not Ubuntu 24.04, which is the latest by the time of recording this video. There are some more steps here, but let's do them step by step. Let's jump right into your terminal, and as usual, you can find all the commands to download in the description. First of all, let's take care of the hostname. We run the command hostnamectl set hostname and then your subdomain, followed by a reboot. After the reboot, you can check the hostname with the command hostname, and then it should output you the subdomain that you chose earlier. The installation script will ask us for the hostname too, but it's easier if it's just already set up beforehand. And then we run this simple command. It's curl, and then it will download the setup.sh script, and then it will execute it. And honestly, that's it. The script will ask us some questions, and if ever we want to change something later on, we can just run sudo mail in a box. The first thing it's asking us is the first email address. Here it comes in handy that we changed the hostname already, because now it knows the hostname, the domain is the sysadminhub.net. So it assigns the email address me@thesysadminhub.net, which is exactly what I want. If you want it different, if you want info, if you want admin, you can just change it there. And now comes the hostname part. Here it detected that this Linux machine is already called box.thesysadminhub.net. That's why the hostname is here already. And they say, yes, you can change it, but they don't recommend it because mail servers are really sensitive about their names. Now it's asking to edit the time zone. In my case, I'm choosing Europe and then Germany as a location. My screen glitched out here, but you can see it's installing system packages and creating SSH key for backup and just starting to install everything. That was surprisingly smooth. And it might even take a couple of minutes until everything is installed, because this is not a Docker container. It's going to install everything bare metal right onto your Linux Ubuntu server. DNS, postfix, dovecot, spam assassin, nginx web server, roundcube for webmail, and even Nextcloud for contacts and calendar. All of that installed automatically with just one command. Even backups are ready out of the box, I think. And yeah, at this point, to be honest, I'm kind of impressed. But it's not yet done installing, so let's give it a couple more minutes and then check out the web interfaces to see what's the deal here. If you enjoy my content, leave a like, comment and consider subscribing. It really helps out small channels like mine grow. And if you'd like to support the work that I do and unlock some extra perks, check out my Patreon. Doesn't matter if you do all of that or just one of that. Your support helps me keep creating more videos like this. Thanks for being awesome. It took some time, but now it's finally continuing. So now we have our first email account me@box.thesysadminhub.net. I actually wanted to have me@thesysadminhub.net, but for the test, I figure it's fine. And now it's asking me a password. I enter it 2 times, and now let's see how it continues. The password was the last step. It requested a free SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt for our web server, and now it's telling us mail inbox is running, and we can log into the control panel with our IP address /admin, but we set up an A record for a subdomain, so I'm going to use our subdomain /admin. Let's try it out. On the first login, we are going to be alerted that this connection is not private, but this is fine. It also sets on the script. We just need to set up the SSL certificate later on in the dashboard. So let's continue here. And this is how it looks like when you enter. This is the admin panel. It is simple. Really simple. You can create mailboxes and aliases. You can check the system status. I'm going to go over some of those in just a moment. And you can view the DNS records. But this is basically it. No advanced filtering rules, no UI options for tweaking postfix or dovecot, no fancy admin panels like in MailCow or MailU. But that simplicity and mail in a box is made by choice. But there's still some things that we can configure. Let's start with the SSL warning. In system TLS certificates, we can go to here and install the certificate, and that will stop the TLS warning for us. Actually, there was a button here, provision. You need to click that first, and then you can install the certificate. But now we can have a signed and valid certificate for box.thesysadminhub.net. In my opinion, the most complicated step for mail servers are DNS records. If you don't set them up correctly, your mails either won't get delivered or you won't receive any mails. But if you've watched my other mail server videos, you're already an expert in that. But Mail in a Box does things a little bit differently. It sets up its own DNS server and tells you to change the name server records for your domain. And you can see if everything is correct here in the status. It says here the name servers on this domain should be ns1.box.thesysadminhub and ns2.box.thesysadminhub.net. They're currently not set, so let's change this. How to do that? Log in where you set up all your DNS records. In here you set up 2 A records, one with ns1.box and the second one with ns2.box, pointing to the IP address of your mail server. And then you're going to set up 2 NS records, that's for name server, with ns2 and ns1.box. What does this do? This means that your mail server now has become your DNS server, your public DNS server. If ever anyone trying to access box.thesysadminhub.net, it's not going to check Cloudflare for the IP address. It's going to check my Mail in a Box server for that IP address because we changed the name server settings in here. The downside of this is that you need to configure every other subdomain for your domain here in Mail in a Box too. And I mean every subdomain. If you're hosting an Nextcloud, even if it's on a completely different server, but it shares the same domain, then from now on, you need to set up every subdomain in your Mail in a Box mail server. And if ever that mail server experiences some downtime, then anyone trying to access your Nextcloud can't get any results from the DNS server and doesn't know where your Nextcloud lives. So your Nextcloud appears to be down, even though everything is running fine on that other server. Those are the perks of running your own public DNS server, I guess. And that's also the reason why I don't run my own public DNS server yet. And I think I never will. But now it's telling us here the name servers are correctly at the registrar. But the good thing about this architecture is that means all those DNS settings are already set in stone. You don't need to set up this one here, or you don't need to set up an SPF record, a DMARC record, a DKIM record. It's already all done and ready just from the get-go. So now let's test it out. On the instruction page, we find the link to our webmail. So let's click this one. And then it redirects us to Roundcube, which personally I'm not a big fan of, but that's just everyone's choice. So let's log in here with our credentials, and then let's do a test mail from this Mail in a Box email address to my MailCow mail server. I opened up a test email account there. So let's send this. And here it is. This is the Mail in a Box test mail that we just sent to our MailCow mail server. So now let's see if we can reply to that as well. And this worked as well. Here we can see we received the reply from my MailCow mail server into my Mail in a Box mail server, which are two completely different mail servers at different locations at even different VPS hosters. TLS is handled automatically, DKIM and DMARC are set up automatically as well. For a beginner-friendly solution, this is honestly solid. And it works out of the box. I guess that's where the name Mail in a Box comes from. Now the question, is Mail in a Box a solid mail server, or is it maybe too simple to be good? In my opinion, Mail in a Box is great for learning about mail servers and DNS settings, but it's not great if you need multiple domains, custom spam rules, advanced logging, containerized deployment, or scalability. With other mail servers like MailCow, MailU or iRedMail, you just simply get more control. So yes, to be honest, for me it might be too simple to be an actual good email server. I think Mail in a Box is perfect for testing and figuring out email servers and to tick off the list on your bucket list for fun projects. But if you're running anything professional, serious or business related, you're just going to miss out on some key features. Before we wrap this video up, a quick thank you again to MIVO Cloud for sponsoring this video. If you want a fast and reliable VPS, use the link and get 30% off on your first order with my promo code. All the details and information you can find in the comments and in the description. What do you think about Mail in a Box? Let me know in the comments. Are you going to use it, or are you sticking with MailCow, MailU or iRedMail? I got videos on those mail servers on my channel page as well. And the next video is going to be how to set up a secondary mail server that's suitable for any mail server out there. Consider subscribing so you don't miss it. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.